Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Muhammad Rashid Ridho as a Chief Committee to give the opening speech. Ridho, the stage is yours.
Hey, good morning everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to webinar event start 68. The role of public relation in shaping global trends. This webinar is part of our event management and extensive reading course applied in this virtual program. We are honored to have Ms. Richy Sabila, Public Relations Supervisor at Huayou, Indonesia, as our main speaker today, along with our university speaker from Sogang University, South Korea, Yeonju, and our juniors from batch 2024. A special thank you to the head of Applet and the Bachelor, Mr. Supri, and our lecturer for this course, Ms. Dewi, for joining us today. It really means a lot to have you all here. Public relations plays a huge role in how ideas, trends, and even cultures spread across the world. Through today's discussion, we hope to learn more about its impact and how it shapes our daily lives. Thank you for being here, and I hope this webinar brings valuable insights to all of us. And I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ridho, for your insightful words.
Everyone, thank you for inviting me for this event. The webinar, the role of public relation in shaping global trend. First of all, I'd just like to thank Ms. Richy Sabila as the Public Relations Supervisor of Huayou, Indonesia. And then the second one is Ms. Dewi as the lecturer, supervisor for this event. And I also like to express great appreciation to the organizing team of this event. And I think this part of event is collaborative effort between the event management class and extensive reading two courses. So I think this is kind of event in which that you can demonstrating that learning goes beyond textbook and classroom. It happens through discussion, networking, and real-world experiences. Today, the role of public relations in shaping global trend is incredibly relevant to our modern digital life or era. ER is not just no longer about shaping an organization image. It has become a strategic force in influencing public opinion, managing crises, and even strengthening global relationship. We are fortunate to have Ms. Richy Sabila here to share valuable insight from her experiences in the PR industry. Additionally, we will hear insightful presentation from students also who have conducted research on the impact of PR in different global contexts. I hope this discussion will broaden our perspective, help us build meaningful connection, and deepen our understanding of PR role in shaping global trends. And I also always encourage all participants to engage actively or ask questions, share your thoughts, because the best learning happens through the interaction. I'm honored to officially open the webinar. Wishing you all productive and insightful session. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And now I would like to hand it over to our moderator, Silky Nielna Rizqiya from Applied English Universitas Gajah Mada. Silky, time is yours.
All right, thank you, Lala. Good morning, everyone. I am Silky Rizqiya, and I am honored to be your moderator for today's webinar event Start 68. Our topic, the role of public relations in shaping global trends, is crucial in understanding how communication strategies influence international perspectives. As Lala mentioned, we have an exciting lineup of presentations that will showcase insightful perspectives from our talented speakers. So, in this first session, we have our first and second UGM speaker teams. And our first team consists of Sabhian, Karerina, Fidelia, and Esda. They will be delivering a presentation on the effects of CSR companies on local communities. So without any further ado, let's welcome Sabhian, Karerina, Fidelia, and Esda. Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Hi. How are you guys?
We're fine.
All right, nice. Are you ready for the presentation?
Yes, we're ready.
All right, great. So the virtual floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Kak Silky, for the time given. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Fidelia Sitaputri-Wiyoko. I'm from Group 1. Today, we are going to present our material about the effects of CSR company to local communities. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so here are the members of Group 1, consists of Karerina Tirza, Esda Pradana, me, Fidelia Sita, and Kalavananda Sabhian. Okay, next slide. Okay, first let's talk about what is CSR. Does anyone here know about CSR? Maybe you haven't, so if you don't, I'll explain to you. So CSR, or corporate social responsibility, is a commitment to improve community well-being through discretionary business practice and contribution of corporate researches. And why CSR matters for communities? So CSR can enhance education, healthcare, infrastructure, and economic opportunities for community. So that's why CSR really matters for communities. So what is the relation between CSR and public relation? So CSR play a key role in shaping a company public image, building trust, and maintaining positive relations with stakeholders. So that's why there's a strong connection between public relation and CSR. Next slide, please. Okay, let's take a look at the example. So how can CSR in Ghana's case an oil company meet the community expectation? So let's take a look first with what is the community expectation? So communities in Ahanta West Municipality district in Ghana tells their expectation are education, healthcare, agricultural, and then access to clean water, sanitation and hygiene, improve transportation network, enhance safety and security, recreational, job creation, the development of local businesses, economic prospect, community capacity building initiative, and the preservation of art and cultural heritage. Okay, so now what is CSR intervention with the communities? So there are two intervention. There's positive and negative. Let's talk about the positive first. So the positive is regarding CSR intervention, the study revealed that school buildings, toilet facilities, and boreholes were the dominant and functional project initiated by the TNC, or Ghana Gas and Oil Company, in the communities. For example, here we have Cosmos Energy contribution and a single-seater toilet facility. So what is Cosmos Energy? So notably, residents of Ekiambara spoke highly of Cosmos Energy contribution, explicitly citing the construction of city water project and its efficient management. So before the intervention, community members had to travel to neighboring areas with containers to fetch water. However, the new water system, which is Cosmos Energy, brought significant relief, ensuring a reliable resource of clean drinking water. Another example, here we have a single-seater toilet facility provided by the company for the community children. The facility aimed to teach children proper toilet usage habits from a young age. Although participants recognized the positive aspect of this intervention, some voiced disappointment about limited employment opportunity with the TNC, or Ghana Gas and Oil Company. They believed that while their youth may lack the qualification for certain position, TNC should still consider them for less skilled roles. Next slide, please. Okay, that's in Ghana. So how about in Indonesia? So here we have example from our own country, which is Indonesia. So Yayasan Pemberdayaan Masyarakat Amunme dan Kamoro, or UPMAK, play a role as a CSR management institution of PT Freeport Indonesia. UPMAK has a role to implement the tasks as social relation that manage the social responsibility given by PT Freeport to the community in Mimika and Timika City. So what is the UPMAK contribution? The first one, they had Koperasi Aitomoa that provides full support for community values related to women emancipation. They also provide 1,000 scholarships that have been turning from 1996 to 2018. Next is build a mining institute to train local communities in the skill needed for world-class mining and prepare them to compete in the mining industry workforce. Next, they also built hospital located in Mimika Regency Highland, namely the Wa'a Putih Hospital. The last one is another commitment as form of CSR implemented by PT Freeport towards the environment is by implementing the reclamation and revegetation program. Next.
Next slide, please. Okay, now it's my turn. Let me talk about success of failed CSR in Southern Ethiopia, addressing industrial environmental impact. Okay, all right, Paul. Let's talk about what happened when CSR going terribly wrong. Ethiopia is a prime example of how good intention without the proper execution can lead to disaster. Example of a whole good intention without proper can lead to disaster. So, what went wrong? First, with regulation, companies are supposed to be responsible, but without rules, they're like kids in a candy store taking what they want and leaving a mess behind. Take the Etep soap factory. Instead of keeping things clean, they're dumping untreated waste straight into Lake Hawaza. The result is delfish, polluted water, and some very unhappy fishermen. And if that's not bad enough, the pollution has caused respiratory disease, skin problem, and pregnancy complication. You think someone would step in? Right. Well, the government response has been, let's just say, overwhelming. So, here's the big question. Who should be responsible? Company? Government? The people? One thing for sure, CSR without an enforcement is just a fancy way of saying, look, we care, while doing absolutely nothing. Next slide, please. Okay. I want to talk about key of CSR areas. Key of corporate social responsibility. CSR is not just about making companies look good on Instagram. If done right, it should actually make a difference in four key areas. Number one is economic responsibility. A good company doesn't just make money, it shares the wealth by creating jobs, paying fair wages, and supporting small business. Imagine if more companies actually invested in their workers instead of, I don't know, buying another private jet. Number two, social responsibility. CSR should mean real investment in education, healthcare, and public service. Schools better, school, affordable healthcare. This thing has actually improved lives, not just a company building one school, taking a photo, and disappearing forever. Next slide, please. Number three is environment responsibility. This one is this one is simple. Don't wreck the planet. Companies need to reduce waste, use clean energy, and actually care about sustainability. Greenwashing won't save the earth, but will action will. Number four, ethical responsibility. Businesses need to play fair, no fraud, no corruption, no exploiting worker. If a company CSR strategy involves bribing official reward, that's not a CSR. That's just a crime. At the end of the day, CSR isn't just about looking good. It is about doing good and maybe making the world a little less of a mess. Okay, next slide.
So GSR means that company not just focus on making money, but also care about the environment, society, and people's well-being. But can company do this alone? Of course, no, because the governments play an important role in making sure GSR is done properly. We will continue to discuss how government role, some problem in GSR, and why government support is so important. The first point is government create laws and policies. The first way governments support GSR is by making laws and policies. Imagine if companies were free to do whatever they wanted. Some might damage the environment with resources or ignore like social problems. Without laws, some business might only think about profit and forget about their responsibility to society. Care and environmental conservation together. The fourth point, some government reward companies with strong GSR. To encourage business to do GSR properly, some government offer rewards to companies that have strong GSR programs. So what kind of rewards? The government might give tax cut. If a company does good GSR, they might pay less tax, financial grants. So these rewards motivate the companies to invest more in a social and environmental project. Next slide. Let's take a look. Problem with GSR in developing countries. CSR might sound great, right? But unfortunately, in some developing countries, CSR does not always work well. Here are some common problems. The first one is limited impact. Some companies only do GSR for advertising and don't really help people. The second one, weak regulation. If the government doesn't have strong GSR laws, the company can ignore their responsibility. The third one is lack of transparency. Sometimes GSR money is stolen by corrupt officials or company leaders instead of being used to help people. Let's take a look one example in Pertamina's GSR program. Pertamina in Indonesia, the state-owned company, has like a GSR program that focus on education, like giving scholarship to students, and then healthcare, like supporting hospital and clinic, and then environmental conservation by protecting nature and reducing pollution. And the problem is weak government control has led to corruption and misuse of a GSR fund. For the example is Pertamax fuel price scandal. Next slide, please. So GSR basically not just a company's responsibility, but also there is a big role from the government. GSR needs strong law and regulation. Collaboration is also important between developed and developing countries, so it can improve global GSR and giving benefits to more people. Next slide.
Okay, and I'll be talking about the benefit of CSR to the communities. So CSR play important role in helping community by supporting social, economic, and environmental needs. It creates job opportunities, improve education, and provide better access to healthcare. And by this, uh, CSR create long-term positive change that benefit both the community and the company. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the most important benefit is economic development and job creation. CSR help local businesses, entrepreneurs, and job seekers through training and mentorship. And some company even invest in microfinance or help small businesses to grow. For example, in sport, they generate local business opportunity around stadium, event, and tourism. And next slide. Okay, this is about education, social inclusion, and healthcare. So for the education, they provide school infrastructure, scholarship, and teacher training to improve education quality, and even offer training and to boost employability and skill. Okay, and for social inclusion, they support marginalized groups such as women and persons with disabilities, and encourage community engagement, giving people a voice in local development. As for healthcare, it improves healthcare facilities, sanitation, and access to medical service. And for example, sport CSR promote healthy lifestyle, physical activity, and mental well-being. Next. Okay, and we come to our conclusion. So CSR help businesses support communities by improving education, healthcare, jobs, and the environment. In Ghana, CSR has provided schools and clean water. And in Indonesia, PT Freeport Indonesia has funded scholarship, hospital, and environmental programs. However, in southern Ethiopia, weak regulation and corruption have made CSR less effective. And for CSR to truly make a difference, company must go beyond image building and focus on real lasting change in communities. Strong policies and responsible business action can help create a better future for all. And this is all from group one. I hope we all can learn something from this. And thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, team, for the amazing presentation. Questions for UGM Speaker 1 can be addressed during the Q&A session alongside UGM Speaker 2. Now, let's move on to our second UGM Speaker team consisting of Farhat, Dinar, Hafsah, and Satrio. They will be presenting on the comparison of technology and its impact on human relationships. Let me call Farhat, Dinar, Hafsah, and Satrio. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Are you guys ready?
Yes, we're ready.
All right, nice. So, the time is yours.
All right. First, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity, Miss Dewi, and to our senior for helping us. And thank you, Group 1, for the great presentation. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. We are from Group 2, and we are going to present the comparison of technology and the impact to human relationship. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Here it is, our members group. Let us introduce ourselves. My name is Hafsah Ziza Perwitasari.
My name is Muhammad Farhat Rizqiya.
My name is Dinar Rahmadani.
And my name is Daniswara Satrio Wicaksono.
Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So we are, let's move on to the materials that we bring into this presentation. First is introduction, research question, follow up by old versus new technology in entertainment, sports, and health, and education. And the last thing is reference. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, all right. Technology has existed for many years, and we still use it until now. But as everyone know, of course, technology continues to develop like crazy, right? For example, like right now, everything is digitalized, while back then we used low tech. Next slide, please. Thank you. So for the research question, the first one is, what is an example of a comparison of past and present technology? And the second, what are the impact because of it? Next slide, please. Thank you. First one is in entertainment. Next, please. Thank you. So let's take a look at this. The first one is technology in the past. We use magazines and newspapers for entertainment. And for inspo, for example, like fashion inspo, makeup inspo, role models, etc. Now we compare it to the new technology. As you can see in the picture, we use such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and those covers magazine, newspapers, and many other things such as communication, making friends, entertainment, etc. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Now, what is the impact of that change? So take a look at this slide. First, this is the source to explain the impacts from Taylor and Francis. The title is Looking Perfect Instagram Use in Quiet Cultural Context. Next slide, please. So here are some of the impacts. But first, in short, this article talk about the motives of them to use Instagram as quiet person. Quiet person is actually Arabic person. So the impacts of it are, first, they easily show themselves in social media. Unlike then, even in magazines, we have to become famous or popular so that we can show ourselves to the public. And for the second, as I said earlier, we often communicate on social media rather than face-to-face. For example, like through DMs or comments. And the third one, they even can edit themselves before posting on Instagram to become perfect in every way. So in my opinion, those impacts are good and efficient for us, which means we are upgrading. But sometimes if we rely on social media too often to communicate, we can socialize in real life and it becomes bad for us. Like, for example, if we gather with friends, but we too focus on social media, we have no bonding. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. The next topic is in sports, which explained
by Danisworo Satrio. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the impact of technology in sports. Next slide, please. So as you can see, the first one is the technology in the past. In the past, sports relied on manual timing systems and simple equipment. Performance measurements were less accurate, and technology played a minimal role in improving athletic ability. Athletes had to depend more on natural skill and physical training without much technological support. And referees also had to rely on their own judgment, which sometimes led to human errors in competitions. Now we compare it to the new technology. As seen in the picture, modern sports use advanced electronic timing system like the one in Olympic swimming competitions. So these technologies ensure precise measurements, enhance fairness, and help athletes reach their full potential. With innovation like instant replay motion sensors and AI-powered analytics, both athletes and coach can analyze performance in real time and make necessary adjustments. And now, what is the impact of that change? Let's move to the next slide. So this is the source that explains the impact. It's from Taylor and Francis, titled The Impact of Technology on Sporting Performance in Olympic Sports by Steve J. Huck. In short, this article discuss how technology has evolved to enhance sport performance, improve safety, and increase engagement through broadcasting and virtual experience. The impacts of it are, next slide, please. Okay, so the first one is advanced materials and equipment design have led to substantial improvements in athletic performance. Unlike before, where athletes use standard equipment with limited features, modern innovation in sportswear and gear enhance speed, agility, and endurance. For example, swimmers now wear specialist suits that reduce drag, and runners have high-tech shoes that improve energy return, giving them a competitive edge. The second one is high-definition broadcast, virtual reality experience, and interactive platforms allow fans to experience events in new and immersive ways. Unlike in the past, when people relied on radio or basic television broadcasts, today's technology allows fans to watch live stream events in 4K resolution, experience sports through VR, and even interact with athletes via social media. This creates a more engaging and global sports community. Third, innovation in protective gear and equipment design help reduce the risk of injuries during competitions. Safety has improved significantly with advanced helmets, shock-absorbing materials, and smart wearables that monitor an athlete's physical condition. All of these innovations help prevent serious injuries, allowing all the athletes to perform at their best while staying safe. Okay, so that's all for this part. Now let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, so hello everyone. Here I'd like to begin by talking about how healthcare technology has changed over time. Next slide, please. Okay, if you look at the left side of this picture, you can see that in 2016, people had to stand in long lines for health checkups. But now things are different. If you look at the right side, you'll see that people can check their health and talk to doctors online using e-health. Next slide, please. Okay, now, what is e-health? Simply put, it is the use of digital technology to improve healthcare. It includes things like telemedicine and electronic health records or EHRS, mobile health application, and online health information. Okay, let's look at some examples. First, telemedicine. This allows people to talk to doctors using video calls, phone calls, or chat application. In Indonesia, applications like HelloDoc, and Allo Doctor help people get medical advice without going to the hospital. And the second is electronic health record or EHRs. These are digital medical records that store patient history, test result, and prescriptions, making it easier for doctors to give the right treatment. And the third is mobile health application. This application help people track their fitness, set medication reminders, and check their health conditions. So some examples in Indonesia are Fitbite and GoWell. And the last is online health information. So websites like Click Doctor and HelloDoc provide trusted medical information so people can learn more about their health. Next slide, please. Okay, now let's move on to how e-health helps older people. Based on a journal that I read with the title is Change, Connectivity and Challenge, Exploring the Role of Healthcare for Aging Populations in Asia Pacific by Erin Peno and Robin Gold, published in 2017. Next slide, please. Okay, so this journal tells about the impact of technology in health environment, especially for older people. First impact is that e-health makes healthcare easier to access. As I see it, this is a big help for all the people who find it hard to travel or live far from hospitals. With e-health, they can get medical help from home. And the second is e-health helps people take care of their own health. Many e-health tools allows older people to check their health, get medicine reminders, and read health tips. So personally, I believe that when people manage their own health, they will stay healthier. And the third is e-health reduces healthcare cost. If you look at the trend, you'll see that e-health helps people avoid unnecessary hospital visits. And I really believe this makes healthcare more affordable for both patients and hospitals. But of course, there are challenges in using e-health, especially for older people. One big challenge is digital skills. So many older people don't know how to use technology, so it's hard for them to use e-health services. And another challenge is application design. So guys, you know that some e-health applications are too complicated, so I think it's important to make them easier for older people to use. And the last is internet access is still a problem. For example, in the rural areas, many people don't have a good internet connection, making it hard to use e-health services. So in my opinion, e-health makes healthcare easier. However, many people still don't fully trust e-health. They feel more comfortable when they see a doctor in person. This shows that e-health still needs improvement. Even so, I believe that using e-health for checking health information or routine checkup is a good idea. And to address these challenges, we can make e-health applications simpler so they are easier for all the people to use. We can also hold workshops to teach them how to use e-health properly. And this way, they can experience the benefits of e-health and feel more comfortable using it. So that's all for me. Please next slide. So the next material is about old versus new technology in education environment.
Okay, greetings everyone. Now I'll talk about how technology has changed the way we learn, the way we communicate in education. So, in the past, as we all know, next slide first. In the past, as we all know, learning was limited to classrooms and study as textbooks. Students had to rely on face-to-face interaction. So they had to meet teachers in person to gain knowledge. And access to information was restricted. But now, with the internet and digital platforms, we can learn anything we want, anywhere, anytime, as long as we got the internet and proper device, of course. Digital platforms like Google for Education, Ruang Guru, Kuiper School, etc. So those digital platforms make learning is more flexible. Students can access video lessons, interactive exercises, and virtual classrooms anytime, anywhere. Okay, next slide. Another comparison is in the past, we used paper for exams, but now we can take them on computers. But technology does not actually replace traditional methods. We still use paper exam nowadays. Instead, it provides easier and more flexible options for learning and assessing. Okay, next. So now, let's talk about an interesting study that shows how technology is changing the way we assess learning in young children. So the journal titled Measurement of Executive Functioning Using a Playful Robot in Kindergarten. It's published in 2019. So next. This research is done in the Netherlands. So the researchers tested a small robot called B-Bot with 65 kindergartners to assess memory, attention, and problem-solving skills. Okay, next. So what is B-Bot? B-Bot is a small robot that helps young children in various things, like learn coding, problem-solving, etc. But researchers also found that it can be used to test kids' thinking skills, like memory and attention. So, how it works? In this study, kindergartners used B-Bot to move through mazes. They researched were compared to regular paper tests to see which method worked better. So they found that the kids enjoyed using B-Bot more than paper tests. It made learning fun and kept them focused. However, it wasn't perfect. Some skills still needed traditional paper-based tests. So technology make learning more interactive. Of course, students can join virtual classes, get instant feedback, and teachers can share resources easily. Okay, next. These are the benefits and challenges. Of course, using technology in education isn't always easy. Not everyone has access to good internet or digital devices, which can create a gap in learning opportunities. Also, teachers and students need time to get used to new systems. Cybersecurity is another concern, as online platform needs to keep student data safe. So despite these challenges, technology has made education more accessible and engaging, helping students and teachers stay connected and learn more effectively. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Okay, so here's our conclusion. So technology has changed the way we connect with each other in many areas like entertainment, sports, healthcare, and education. In entertainment, social media has replaced newspaper and magazine, make it easier to share and find information. But it also creates social media pressure in sport. And in sport, technology has improved athletic performance through better equipment and materials. Fans can now experience even in new ways with high definition broadcast and virtual reality. Innovations in protective gear also help keep athletes safe during competition. And in healthcare, e-health helps people get medical advice online, but not everyone knows how to use it. And the last is in education, Technology makes learning more flexible and interactive, but some students still struggle with internet access and online safety. Overall, technology helps us communicate faster and easier, but it also brings new problems that we need to solve to make sure everyone can use it well. Next slide, please. And here is the references of our materials. Next slide. Okay, so guys, that's all from our presentation. Thank you for your attention, guys. We now return the time to the moderator.
All right, wow, thank you, Tim, for that insightful presentation. And now let's move on to the Q&A session for our first two presenters, which are UGM Speaker 1 and UGM Speaker 2. For participants, if you would like to ask questions directly, please click the raise hand button and I will call your name. And you can also type your questions on the chat box. Once again, if you would like to ask questions directly, please click the raise hand button. And if you want to type it on the chat box, please type it. All right, maybe before we take questions from the audience, I'd like to ask you guys something first. And the first, I would like to ask group 1. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello. So I actually have a question in my mind. Like, you talk about CSR, right?
Yes.
So do you think CSR should be like mandatory for all companies? Like, should all companies have the CSR? Why or why not? Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Excuse me, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is my voice clear now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So, in our opinion, CSR is a must for company because when a company has CSR, they can, of course, make their company looks better in external and internal. Also, if they have CSR, it's mean that they care about environment, they care about they care about social inside and outside the company. So that's why they can attract more investor or business opportunity from others company. Also, it can be employee satisfaction and community satisfaction. What else? Is everyone want to add something from my group?
I want to add from Fidelia. So, CSR should be applied to companies because it can benefit not only for the society but also the company themselves. It can make a positive social and environmental impact. Like CSR ensure that business contribute to social welfare and then competitive advantage and market differentiation. Also, it can attract investor and business opportunities. Like many investors now prioritize how companies with strong CSR programs. So because of that, they show long-term sustainability and good business practice.
Okay, it was a really nice answer actually. thank you for UGM Speaker 1. And I also would like to ask for UGM Speaker 2. Hi, guys.
Hello.
So, it's a simple question, actually. Like, do you guys think that traditional entertainment like newspapers or magazines will completely disappear in the future? What do you think, guys?
Okay, thank you for the question. From my personally, I think magazine and newspapers still exist until now because um, I'm sorry for elder people. They cannot really like use social media in such as Instagram for like entertainment and stuff. So they still use some what is it, traditional technology such as magazine and newspaper. Okay, anyone wants to add something?
All right, maybe if there's no one who wants to add something, I will end this Q&A session because we still have another presenters. And thank you for especially UGM Speaker 1 and 2 for your insightful presentations and also answers. So let's continue with our next group of presenters, which is UGM Speaker 3, consisting of Farrel, Marsa, Jihan, and Leonard. They will be presenting about Korea is going worldwide. And their presentation will also be followed by Miss Yeonju from Sogang University, South Korea. So keep your questions for the upcoming session as well. So I would like to call the third team. Hi, Farrel, Marsa, Jihan, and Leonard.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah. Are you guys ready?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, the virtual floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much for the moderator for the time that we have right now. Good afternoon, everyone. We are from Group 3, and today we are very excited to share about our presentation on a cultural phenomenon that has taken the world by storm, that is the Hallyu or the Korean wave. Before we begin, we would like to introduce ourselves. Next slide, please. Okay, my name is Leonard Elling, and these are my colleagues. There are Jihan, Marsa, and Farrel. To the next slide. This is the backstory of the Korea. A few decades ago, South Korea was one of the poorest countries in the world. They struggled to rebuild after the war and didn't have any natural resources to rely on. But if we fast forward to today, Korea is the global trendsetter, not because of the oil or the gold, but through the art. South Korea has rebranded itself into the world's coolest cultural hotspot. So, the next slide. The question now would be, how has Hallyu shaped South Korea's global brand identity through public relations strategies? Next slide. So, Farrel is currently having some internet issues, so I will take over. This is the introduction part of the influence of Korean wave or Hallyu. Hallyu, what began as a regional fascination in Korean dramas and film, has now transformed into a global cultural force, influencing the music, the fashion, the beauty, and even economic policies. Hallyu's growing influence extend beyond entertainment, shaping Korea's economy, media policies, and international presence. It has been reframed as economic and national branding tool, pushing Korean public service broadcasting to adopt more market-driven strategies globally. The role of public service broadcasting in public relation plays a crucial role in public relation by using the media as a tool for cultural diplomacy and national branding. The examples are the KBS, TBS, MBC are key to the PSP channels that promote Korea's image through dramas, music programs, and documentaries. Next slide, please.
Okay. Now, what is the influence of Hallyu? The Korean wave as a cultural export. Hallyu, or the Korean wave, refers to the transnational flow of South Korean popular culture, encompassing music, television dramas, films, fashion, and beauty industries. Emerging in the late 1990s, Hallyu has evolved into a regional and global culture phenomenon, driven by advancement in digital technology, social media, and strategic government support. As Korean cultural products circulate across borders, they contribute to the formation of a shared regional media space, influencing consumption patterns and production practices in various local industries. But what is the example of it? The example is the success of key dramas like Squid Game and Crash Landing on You demonstrate Hallyu's influence on global entertainment, leading to increased demand for Korean-style storytelling in international production. Similarly, the rise of K-pop groups like BTS or Blackpink has influenced global music trends, inspiring artists worldwide to incorporate Korean style, choreography, and production techniques into their work. Okay, next. But Hallyu's rise did not happen overnight. It has gone through three major stages. For the first, it's Hallyu 1.0. It's in the late 1990s and 2000s. This pace saw South Korean films gain international recognition, such as Shiri and My Sassy Girl became major hits, drawing foreign audiences to Korean storytelling and cinema. Hallyu 2.0. It's in the mid-2000s and 2010. The rise of K-pop propelled Korean entertainment onto the world stage, fueled by YouTube, social media, and digital streaming. Groups like Super Junior, Girls' Generation, and Big Bang helped establish K-pop as a global phenomenon. And then for the last, it's Hallyu 3.0. It's starting from 2010 until the present days. Today, Hallyu has expanded far beyond music and film, influencing fashion, beauty, gaming, webtoons, and even language learning. K-pop reached new heights with groups like BTS and Blackpink, who gained international fame with unprecedented success in global music charts. In addition, brands like Innisfree and Laneige dominate the global beauty industry, while Korean gaming companies lead the esport and mobile gaming markets. And then, the demand for learning Korean has also surged, with platforms like Duolingo introducing Korean courses to accommodate the growing number of international learners influenced by K-pop, K-dramas, and Korean culture. And then, what has Korean wave bring to the world? And then will be explained by my friend Jihan.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now we talk about Korean culture. Korean is the one of the fastest growing language in the world. On Duolingo, Korean is the seventh most popular language to learn. This is because fans of K-pop, K-drama, and Korean TV show, they hear Korean words all the time without formal lessons. Why? The reason is simple. K-pop, K-drama, and Korean TV show fans hear words all the time when they're watching their favorite idol or actor. Without even trying, they learn simple words just from watching, like 사랑해, 감사합니다, and then 안녕하세요. And but not only fans, even international or Indonesian brand use Korean language. Some brand usually give a photo card every product purchase, which increases the buy interest. They even work with Korean artists and use Korean language in advertisement because they know Korean culture is attract young global audience. Next slide, please. Okay, now we move to another topic is the business power behind Hallyu. The Ministry of Cultural and Tourism in Korea works hard to support and promote Korean culture industry. They help pay for K-drama production, K-pop world tour, and even Korean beauty. This is because this industry brings tourists to Korea. There's some example is the Visit Korea campaign. It's combined many things. First example is K-drama filming location. Place like Jeju Island from K-drama Welcome to Samdari, and then Bukchon Hanok Village from Goblin is become popular because they appeared in famous K-drama. They visit to take photos in the exact spot scene were filming. Another example is medical tourism. Korea is the popular destination for a medical tourism. Known for this advertised technology, expert doctors, and high quality healthcare service, many people from around the world visit the reserve treatment while also exploring the country's rich culture and modern attraction. With a strong reputation for excellence in medical care, Korea continues to attract visitors looking for both health and travel experience in one trip. Okay, next will be presented by my friend.
Okay, I will continue with further points on K-dramas as cultural ambassadors. I would like to begin by Kim and Litus, projected for this basic destination planning program. It is about a study that explored the gap within how South Korea's tourism brand is projected by its destination marketing organization and how it is perceived by potential tourists. Korea actively promotes itself as a modern, high-tech, and exciting country, hoping to attract tourists and investors. However, many foreign visitors still associate Korea with its deep traditions, historical heritage, and cultural customs. This gap between Korea's projected and perceived image is where K-dramas play an important role as cultural ambassadors. K-dramas help shape how international audiences view Korea by showcasing different aspects of the country. Some dramas highlight Korean modern, progressive side, while others reinforce its rich tradition and history. For example, the first one is Itaewon Class, presents Korea as multicultural and business-driven. And then Descendant of the Sun portrays Korea's advanced medical and military expertise. And then Crash Landing on You explores the complex relationship between North and South Korea. On the other hand, historical dramas like Mr. Sunshine or The Red Cliff emphasize Korea's traditional values, language, and customs. By watching the dramas, international viewers get a more balanced understanding of Korea. Some may start to see Korea as more modern and dynamic, while others might gain a deeper appreciation for its tradition. In this way, kids drama act as cultural ambassadors, helping bridge the gap between Korea's projected modern image and the perceived traditional aspect that many people associate with the country. Next slide, please. Now, let us move on to K-pop as a soft power tool. K-pop is a powerful cultural influence that shapes global trends, especially in consumer behavior and language learning. K-pop idols serve as cultural ambassadors, spreading Korean culture worldwide and influencing millions of fans.
Let's go to the first point, language influence of K-pop. Many fans around the world pick up Korean phrases from K-pop songs, variety shows, and interviews. This has increased global interest in learning the Korean language and understanding Korean culture. Theory use is English as a lingua franca by Jenkins on 2014. This theory explains how English is used as a global communication tool among speakers of different languages. K-pop strategically uses English to make its content more accessible to a global audience. Many songs mix Korean and English lyrics, and idols often use English in interviews and social media to connect with international fans. This blending of language helps bridge cultural and linguistic gaps. Now, let's consider the question of how K-pop idols act as cultural ambassadors. The first one is Blackpink. Blackpink has been appointed as UN climate ambassadors, using their influence to spread awareness about environmental issues. And then in June 2024, 17 was appointed as UNESCO's first ever Goodwill Ambassador for Youth. In this role, they pledged $1 million to support global youth initiatives, emphasizing their commitment to education and youth empowerment. And then the last one, BTS, has represented Korea at major global events such as speaking at United Nations and meeting the US president. And then BTS also chosen as the PR ambassador for the Busan World Expo 2030, an international event showcasing culture, technology, and innovations. Beyond entertainment, the Korean wave has also played a significant role in shaping global perceptions of South Korea's healthcare industry. K-dramas and K-pop have inadvertently highlighted the country's advanced medical facilities, attracting visitors seeking high-quality treatments. To dive deeper into how Hallyu has boosted Korean medical tourism sector, let's hand it over to the next slide.
Okay, thank you. Because the time is already short, so I will explain as fast as I can. Because explained by Jihan before, the Korean wave has boosted the tourism in the Korea, but it hasn't always been like that. Before the Hallyu effect has gone, there are several issues that the Korean government or the Korean tourism is facing. Based on the journal that we have read here, the assessment of medical tourism development in Korea, it was said that the Korea is struggling to differentiate itself from the competitors like Thailand with the affordable prices or Singapore with the high luxury theme. The government tried to help by trying to reduce the legal processes to get into the country, doing various promotions and making improvement around the city to help welcome the tourists, but the impact remained limited. It is only after the Korean wave and the help of the social media, it boost the tourism and show that the Korea has highly staffed professionals and good technology that popularize the Korean beauty standards and also fuel the global demands for Korean cosmetic products. Next slide, please. So onto the conclusion, I would like to conclude about our presentation on Hallyu. That is the importance of the role, the public relation in the Hallyu's global success. PR is one of the key factors in Hallyu's success. Korean entertainment companies can promote their content in the global market with the help of PR strategies. The most important thing in developing the brand of Korean groups, K-dramas, and other cultural products is to create a clear brand image. PR in the future can continue to shape the growth of Hallyu by improving the relationship between Korean entertainment and global fans. Korea can use innovative digital strategies and influencers collaborations to increase the reach of Hallyu. This will keep the Korean culture influential and continue to attract new audiences around the world. Next slide. These are some of the references that we took for this presentation. Next slide. That is all from our team. We are looking forward for further insight. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Ambassador 3, for your really wonderful presentation. And now let's continue with one of our special speakers. Please welcome Ms. Yeonju. For your information, Ms. Yeonju is a student at Sogang University in South Korea, majoring in Economics and Sociology. Hi, Yeonju. Can I just call you Yeonju?
Yes, please. Yeonju is okay.
All right. It's nice to see you again because we actually met before when our friend called to introduce you to our Korean class. So, are you ready for the presentation?
Yes, but before, I just want to make sure I'm using my mic right now. Is it working?
Yeah, it's clear enough.
Okay, thanks. I'm ready.
All right. Now the screen is yours.
Um, Okay, can I start?
Of course.
Okay. So yeah, morning everyone. My name is Yeonju. You can just call me Yeonju. I'm from Sogang University. And before I start my presentation today, I would like to say thank you for everyone here to invite me in this webinar. This is a very good opportunity for me, and I'm very grateful about that. So today I'll be speaking on an extension of the previous theme made it presented by group 3, which is Korean culture. So as they just mentioned, Hallyu can keep Korean culture influential and continue attracting new audiences. Korea is indeed showing fact of, like one of the fastest growth on tourism in all over the world with support of cultural ambassadors such as K-pop stars and K-dramas and yeah, whatever its soft powers on. So my topic precisely today will be about what is beyond Korea, or what is beyond the landmarks on Korea, focusing on landmarks. Shall we move on? Could you please? Yes, thank you. So let's take a look at the three pictures below. If you are interested in Korea, or at least ever heard of that a country named Korea exists, you may have heard of these three Korean cities with the largest tourist population. These three pictures show the typical illustration of Seoul, Jeju, and Busan from the left. Next slide, please. Yes, so when we check the top popular attractions in Korea in 2021, we can see like most of the 5 places from the top, 2 palaces, and Seoul Tower, Insadong, and Bukchon are all located in Seoul. Well, we do have Gamcheon Cultural Village from Busan, Nami Iceland, and Gangwon, and like etc. Most of the popular landmarks and attractions are almost all focused in Seoul. And there are also some theme parks such as Lotte World, Everland, and yes, etc. But if we so this is an example from 2021, but if we keep checking or tracking on the list of these attractions, it is almost always fixed, and the attractions on the list are rarely shifted. Actually, yeah. So for foreign tourists, these places are almost mandatory when visiting or traveling to Korea, which means almost they almost all of them go to Seoul and just look around, take a look at the Seoul, and they go back to their own country. So these landmarks mean that these cities are very famous and loved, but at the same time, it can make the stereotype of an image of Korea, like why other places aren't always mentioned there like that. So outbound of Korea, it is recognized as a modern city with some bizarre art technologies, shopping, a little bit of hanok. But I think, in my opinion, the landmarks also show how tourism development in Korea is actually slower than seen on outside. So let's take a look at the next slide. So This picture shows a cafe. It's not a construction. In fact, it's an actual cafe once opened in Seoul 2023. So Instagram tends to this under construction cafe has reached to an Instagram aesthetics, the people say. So Instagram trend to get aesthetic pictures resulting on making like thousands of different types of cafe in all over Korea. So this this cafe this type of IG cafes are all over the world in every tourism spot, and it's all filled with cafe. So even though this has gone viral on social media because of this unique concept, Southern District Office has required for demolition of this hazardous material. So Instagram trend in Korea that is very strong to get aesthetic pictures and to upload it on social media. It makes tourism spots very monotonous and dull. That is pointed out to not even international tourists but also local tourists. Also, it seems like they are lack of understanding on building and making a pleasant atmosphere and environment to tourists. Let's see another slide. Next slide, please. So this picture is a photo zone or a photo spot from a city in Goyang. As you see, it's a photo zone, but it's not even a tourism spot or a city famous with tourism. It's just a small city where local people usually just live and work. But this is made in the middle of nowhere where very rare tourists are visiting and not even for local people. So, but since this is made by the government, it's hard to just take it off because it will also require Korean people's taxes. So we can also see that most of the Korean tourism spots or photo zones, those tourist attractions, are usually built without a sincere consideration of Korea's tourism potential, and it is also only very highly relying on social media because photo zones are usually made for uploading on social media. Yeah, we can move on. Okay, then what else can we see in Korea other than Seoul and Seoul Tower and Bukchon, you might ask? So despite some issues on Korean tourism spots relying on social media but everything else, Korea is still indeed bearing diverse cultures, long history itself, and a creative space for international and local people. So I would like to suggest a few themes of Korean traveling first, so that everyone who have the potential to travel to Korea later can actively, creatively, and freely design their trip. And I would also like to help you to discover what has been alien to you, even though it feels so. Okay, so let's go to the first thing. Let's go check it out. Yes, yes, yes. So the first thing of a Korean tour is known as K-pop tours. As presented, Korea is a land of K-pop. Therefore, not a small portion of international tourists are influenced by K-pop. So here we can take a look of these five spaces: Charlotte Theater, Gochuk Skydome, Hongdae, SM Town, or Gwangya. I heard SM Town is closed and switched to Gwangya, if I'm not mistaken. And they can have an experience of a K-pop one-day classes, such as K-pop dancing, random play dance, or karaoke singing, just like that. Yes, we can move on. So Charlotte Theater is the first theater in Korea that is dedicated for musical shows. Its unique exterior and interior is also attracting a lot of international tourists. Also, Gochuk Stardom would be very famous and well known to any K-pop fans here because most of the concerts are held here. Not even when there's your Vice's concert, people also visit there just to see the interior and how is the space designed. Yeah, which makes the tour very unique. And there is there is this special unique culture in Hongdae that I would like to introduce is next slide, please. Yes, the birthday cafes in Hongdae. So even though birthday cafes are not really held by K-pop stars themselves or enterprises, the fans were the fans are really dedicated for these events on their own just to promote their stars and their love groups. So they went to cafe and decorated with their pictures or images of their stars. They will hold events on their stumps, such as selling DIY merchants and etc. And in some cases, their stars can actually come visit the cafe. So culture is first evolved in Korea and it's now spread to the nearby countries such as Japan, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. It's one of the unique characteristics you can find and a must visit if you are a K-pop stan. And also, not only K-pop, if you are interested in historical sites, you can get to know more about Korea's history and the specialty of it. Yeah, so a number of the most famous historical sites in Korea to local people. First of them are Bulguksa Temple and Sogang Grotto, which means Goa in Indonesian. It shows the settlement of Buddhism in Korean Peninsula since the 4th century. So from 57 BCE till 935 BCE, there was a country named Silla, which was existed during the Three Kingdom era till it unified the rest of the 3 countries, and its culture was prospered. So this temple and this grotto shows the prosperity of unified Silla and how Buddhism there flourished. It's one of the most visited spots and a must visit spot in Korea. Yes. And another places we can see Gyeonggi Shrine and Hanok Village located in Jeonju, where they are keeping a history of Joseon dynasty that existed almost right before democratic Korea. It's keeping some of the king's portraits from Joseon dynasty and the archive of veritable records of Joseon dynasty, which is very important to understand Korea's culture and the overall history. Meanwhile, in Gwangju, there's a memorial park for Gwangju Uprising, or as known as May 18th Democratization Movement, which is given with demonstrations against coup d'etat of Chung Do-hwan on 1980. It was violently suppressed by Korean military, and it was greatly distorted as riot of North Korea. This place has gone viral after J-Hope, a member of BTS, promoted Gwangju as his hometown, and a lot of tourists started visiting there and getting to know more about modern Korean political history. Also, as mentioned in the first 2 slides, there was 2 famous palaces named Gyeongbokgung and Changbokgung, right? But there are actually 5 palaces of Joseon dynasty. 2 of them are the most famous, but the other 3 are rather unknown. So try visiting Changgyeonggung, Doksugung, and Gyeonghigung, and you can still get to experience something such as Hanbok experience and get to know more about Hanbok design, beautiful natures, but with less crowded. The last one about historical sites is the National Museum of Korea, which is also located in Seoul. It shows the whole history from Paleolithic era to modern Korea, and it's also a hub of treasures. Below you can see a gilt bronze Maitreya in meditation, which is a national treasure of Korea, number 83. If we're running out of time, so I would like to move on now, and I'll try to explain a bit faster. Next slide, please. Yes. Okay, so my third theme is about the nature of Korea. I I know the nature is also well known, but you can see that there is more inside Korea other than just tangerines in Jeju, like some oceans and buildings in Busan and so on. Let's move on to the next one. Because Korea has four seasons, there is a unique scenery that is like also found in other countries, but it will be very unique in Korea. So in Sopchikoji Jeju, there is a large canola field that is only flourished in spring because canola is usually flourished in spring. And in Sogang, the ocean on the east side of Korea is known as very clear compared to the western and southern coast of Korea. And when you visit Naejangsan National Park, located in a Naejangsan Mountain in Jeonbuk in autumn, the you can see the mountain is dyed with all the fall colors. And in winter in Gangneung, you can see the whole city is covered with snow. The ocean's freezing with its beautiful scenery made with snow, even though it be a bit cold, not a bit, but it's still cold. And also and also as Korea is now the only country separated and militarized still on Cold War, there is also a famous tourist spot which is Korean Demilitarized Zone tour. Did you know that even though it is demilitarized zone and strictly on you know like strictly supervised by military, you can still visit their tour. It's safe, you won't die, and it's open for everyone. So you can by visiting underground tunnels and door observatory, you can get to see over North Korea, the closest area, and you can get to know about the ecosystem made in DMZ and also the history of Korean War. That's enough for nature, and we can also move on to religion. Even though it is known that almost half of the population in Korea are not religious, next slide, please. Yes, so even though half of the no, can you please go back to the previous one? Yes, thank you. Yes, you can stop there. There are still a lot of religions actually like living on vividly in Korea, and it's very diverse. So first of all, there is a Seoul Central Mosque in Itaewon, which is the first and largest Korean mosque. Also, not only mosques, there are also some places such as Myeongdong Cathedral on the next slide, the first parish and first neo-Gothic capital in Seoul, Korea. In Busan, you can find Haedong Yeonjung's a Buddhist temple, which is literally built on the ocean, on the coast. With its beautiful scenery and the entrance fee is free, a lot of visitors are attracted to it. We can also, if you are real interested in foreign religion or like religion that is outside of you, the Gangwon Anglican Church will be very interesting to you because this actually looks like a Hanok or a Buddhist temple, but it's actually an Anglican church that collaborated basilica in both Hanok style and is to make an Anglican church. It is located in Gangwon Island, Gangwon, near to Incheon, and it was built on 1900. You can see how diverse the Korean culture is and how it try to approach both Korean and non-Korean. That's all for my suggested thing. And before I finish my presentation, I would like to introduce a few brief tips when you get to travel to Korea. So first of all, to avoid scams and rip-offs that actually unfortunately exist in Korea, I suggest you to keep two things in your mind. So first of all, I know Myeongdong is famous, but everything in Myeongdong is irrationally expensive. I repeat, it's irrationally expensive. So whenever you get to travel to Seoul, it's fine, it's cool. But I suggest you not to try to buy something in Myeongdong because not only for foreigners, for Koreans, it is also irrationally expensive, and it has been reported on the news for various times for its scams and ripoffs. And with the same reason, calling a taxi with an app, I will introduce it later, is strongly recommended because if you grab a taxi without an app that is running a Korean company individually, it is more likely to make a scam or ripoff to foreign tourists, especially those who cannot speak Korean. Also, considering the weather, it is popular and it's well known now that Korea can be hotter than tropical regions. In winter, it can be colder than Russia. So last summer in 2024, a city named Yeonju, which is the southern part of Gyeonggi, has reached over 40 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, this January, Seoul has reached under negative 12 degrees in January. So if you get to travel Korea during summer or winter, you really have to be prepared. Okay, especially during winters, you have to bring a lot of clothes. On the next slide, we can see that cash is rarely used in metropolitan cities, unlike Jogja. So if you go to a famous and big scale cafe such as Starbucks, sometimes they will not accept cash at all, and you only have to pay with credit card or Korean bank transfer. So you should prepare a card that also works outbound, and for transportation, so you have to prepare e-money because especially in Seoul and other 5 metropolitan cities, the number of cashless buses are increasing more and more. And lastly, the smartphone applications that are so essential to us now, such as Google Maps, Google Translate, Uber, or WhatsApp, everything will not be effective. None of them will be effective in Korea. So you have to prepare your Korean apps, such as Kakao Maps or Google Maps, Papago for a translator, Kakao Taxi, and Kakao Talk for texting messages. For taxi, I strongly recommend you to download Kakao Taxi instead of like Uber, Grab, or something. It won't work there, so that you can avoid scams and rip off. So move on to the next slide, please. Yes, that's all for my presentation today. Once again, I would like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce my country and to get to meet everyone with great presentations topics. And yes, hopefully you all can have a chance to get to know more about Korea. Thank you.
All right, what an amazing presentation, Yeonju. Thank you so much for sharing about your country, especially. And now let's move on to the Q&A session for our last two presenters, which are UGM Speaker 3 and Yeonju, who both delivered presentations related to South Korea and its global impact. So if you have any questions, please click the raise hand button or type your questions in the chat box. All right, Daiva Aurelia, please.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to ask, is my voice audible?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is more for group 3, but if Yeonju would like to answer, that's okay as well, because it's going to be related on Korean culture. Well, I would like to ask that, K-pop is going worldwide, as explained, and with them going worldwide, they do more promotion abroad, maybe such as in the United States. And with this happening, many people are seeing K-pop to be, following the mainstream Western culture, or, we call it westernized, and losing its original recipe, that is Korean culture. So, and many people also likes K-pop because, the Korean culture, but now that it's becoming more like Western culture, does this affect the promotion of Korean culture itself? Maybe because people are seeing, oh, there's no difference between K-pop and regular Western media and things like that. And that caused people to be less interested in learning about Korean culture or, visiting the country. So yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
All right, again, speaker 3, or maybe Yeonju, you could answer the question.
Okay, please give us some time to process the answers first. Thank you very much.
All right. Maybe Yeonju.
I think that if quickly let me, then I can explain my things briefly, and also you can get the answers from quickly because like it would not be always the same. Is it okay?
Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, here is my brief opinion about your question, Daiva. Thank you for your question. I also strongly agree to your opinion. Actually, K-pop is actually presenting a Korean culture, and it's one of the most leading soft powers in Korea. But it's been also being like going to be resembling the music of just the Western culture. They've been using more and more English lyrics, and some of their songs can be like the lyrics can be all 100% in English. But but on the other hand, I also think that starting from the evolution, like the very first moments of K-pop, it's been also following some parts of Western culture or Western songs. So my suggestion is that so from the start of K-pop, it's not only been 100% originally Korean culture because in the roots of it there are still like Western cultures, Western trend inside. So yes, so a actually so solution, my suggestion to the current situation is that because there are in Korea exists some kind of music band that keep the uniqueness of the Korean culture. So, but it's not like sorted as a part of K-pop, like the idol, like ethnic idol group. So as far as I know, I have two examples of a K-pop music group. Uh, K-pop music group in Korea, which one of them is that it's a music band, including gomgo, a traditional Korean instrument, and they are making music highly based on Korean culture and gukak, which is known as Korean traditional music. Another group is a boy band which one of the four members is actually a Korean traditional singer. And the songs they produce in their album is it's remixing and like revitalizing Korean traditional songs to make it modern with more with more like motives from Western culture, thereby collaborating Korean traditional and Western cultures. So these kind of music groups are being more active and like being more like their numbers are increasing in Korea, but the problem is that they aren't really getting a spotlight because they are not sorted as a part of K-pop. So I hope the government or the famous enterprises would promote more undergroups and yeah.
All right. Maybe UGM Speaker 3 would like to add just briefly.
Yes, we want to adding some perspective. So, from our perspective, the westernized culture in K-pop, it is one of the public relations strategies from the K-pop industries to set the K-pop into a powerful cultural influence to the Western culture, to the Western world. As we mentioned before, Western has influence in K-pop, while English as a lingua franca. That's the theory from Jenkins that K-pop strategically uses English to make its content more accessible to global audiences, and many songs mix Korean and English lyric. That as we already know, that means the K-pop music and culture has merged with the westernized culture. So it's basically the uh, cultural mix between the Korean and the Western, so that the K-pop can um, uh, continuously influencing worldwide fans. So yeah, our answer is that English as the Western's language, as the lingua franca the K-pop uh, for the K-pop in this case. So yeah, that basically just to unite the international fans and the regional fans so that they can understand what is the meaning of the song maybe, or the drama. So yeah, that's all from us. That's our
Okay, thank
perspective.
you. Okay, thank you again, speakers three, and also Yeonju for your answer. That was really nice, and also thank you for Daifa for your engaging question. And now we have come to our guest and main speaker, which is Miss Richy Sabila. She is the Public Relations Supervisor at Huayou, Indonesia, and she will be sharing her experiences in public relations within the mining and smelter, government, and consulting industries. Sounds interesting, right? So please welcome Miss Richy. Hi, Miss.
Good morning. Can you
Morning.
hear my voice clearly?
It's clear. I think everyone is already excited to hear your presentation. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, great. And from now on, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the master ceremony. So today, good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, the Honorable Mr. Dr. Supriyono, the head of Applied English Study Program, and also Mrs. Dr. Dewi Chahya, the lecturer of Event Management and Reading Extensive, and also all the event committees and also the participants that involve me in this agenda. It's a very great opportunity, not only for all of you, but also for me to speak in front of university students, which clearly I haven't really have much experience on this, but turns out the committee scrolled to TikTok and found my account so that she invites me, which is Bina, which I think maybe she is dealing with the translation right now. I'm not sure, but let's begin with the presentation because I only have 15 minutes and the topic that we are going to talk about is quite wide. Yeah. So first of all, the title of the presentation is about CSR and technology, practical insight and challenges. Next. So before we start, I would like to introduce myself first. All of you can call me Richy, and you can find me through all of our social medias like TikTok, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And in TikTok, I share regular updates about practical insights about public relations. So if all of you are interested about public relations, you can check my TikTok account. And for my career experience, I was actually do not have like a theoretical background or formal educations about public relations. So my PR expertise is actually coming from, all of them are actually from my career background. I started my PR journey actually in Golin Harris. So Golin Harris is a PR firm that based in United States, but they have a branch in Indonesia. It's a subsidiary of IPG. So if all of you interested in public relations, you might considering apply yourself to Golin Harris or IPG because they have a very huge clients. Last time I handled Bank of America and also Qatar Airways, the airline industry, and then SK2, the retail skincare brand. And then after that, I entered Mark Plus Inc. It's a marketing consulting company, the first marketing consulting firm in Indonesia. Their clients are mostly state-owned enterprises and also government institutions. And then after that, I chose to be an in-house PR for a company called Huayou Cobalt. So Huayou Cobalt is still new in Indonesia. We invested in Indonesia in 2018. So it's actually a China-rooted company. We are focusing on producing the raw material of EV batteries. So if you're using iPhone or any Apple products, the raw material that used in the battery is coming from nickel. And the nickel is produced in Indonesia by Huayou Cobalt and some other companies. So we turn valuable resources of natural resources into valuable products like EV batteries. So previously, the Group 1 has explained some CSR programs by some mining companies like Freeport and such other companies. Today, I'm coming from the same industry, the mining industry, so I can share practical insights and some comments towards the points that previously Group 1 have already presented. So without further ado, let's next. Okay, so before I start presenting about the CSR, today I'm going to give all of you one statement that I learned from my 5 years experience of being a PR. Public relation is not just a job, it is a mentality. And why do I say that? Next. The answer is in the relations itself. So actually, each of you, every one of us, we are a public relations. You are dealing with your families, dealing with your friends, we are communicating with people. That's exactly what public relations really means. We are having relations with a lot of people, with the society around us, and we are trying to sending message to them, and we are trying to keep our reputation positive to our friends, to our loved ones, to our followers. So everyone basically is a public relations. So what differs all of you if you want to have a PR career and those who are not in the PR career? The difference is in the mentality. So everyone can be a PR, but not everyone has the PR mentality. And what are the key to that? Next. The key to that is 2 keywords. The first one is knowledge, and the second one is attitude. So being a PR, sometimes people just say, oh, as long as you have a good public speaking, as long as you look good, as long as you dress well, then you can be a public relations, especially if you master several languages at once. But actually, it is much more than that. PR plays a very strategic role in company. And that is why I'm saying that your knowledge define you. So when I was entering Huayou Cobalt just 2 weeks when I was just entered the company, I met someone. My boss introduced me to someone very popular in the industry that he appears a lot in television programs, giving comments and opinions about the mining industry. When he introduced me to him, this person asked me just one question that hits me to the core and slaps me in the head. And the question is, Richy, do you know what is the difference between limonite and saprolite? So for the context, in nickel mining industry, there are 2 different type of nickel with different concentration, the limonite and the saprolite. So it's a very, very basic knowledge that actually every PR in this industry, in the nickel mining industry, should know. But back then, I was just entering the company for 2 weeks, so I haven't really learned about the technical stuffs. Instead, I learned more about the company culture and the company branding. And at that time, I answered, sorry, Pa, I don't know what you say, but I will definitely learn about it. And he said, then you are a bad PR. And since then, I never want to skip every news and every trend related to the industry, because the key of being a PR is that you are having a relationship with people, but there should be context, and also there should be a knowledge that you guys can share. So that's the first thing. And the second one, your attitude shape people's perception towards you. This is a very basic statement, actually, because you guys already know that being a PR, we should have the politeness, we should have a good interpersonal skill, we have to be respectful with people. So it's actually, I will not dive deep into this. So what I'm going to say is, in whatever job you are doing, if you have public relations mentality, then you are one step ahead above everyone else. So as a PR, it's not just, sorry, I have some friends working in different industry. Let's say he is a system engineer, or I have a friend who is mining engineer. Not really related to PR, but because they have the PR mentality, they can explain things simply that people can receive their message, and then they can well dress, they can expressing things very nicely that people welcome with them and everything, it escalates their career really fast compared to their colleagues who doesn't have this PR mentality. So whatever dream job that you are having right now, whether it is a PR or not, having a PR mentality is very important to escalate your career. Next. So today, I'm going to talk about corporate social responsibility, which is previously presented by Group 1. And I was quite impressed because there are some terms and there are some analysis that I haven't thought that the team could reach the research that far. So I divide 2 points into this presentation, the environmental sustainability or responsibility, and also the community relations. So previously, there is also a question from the Master of Ceremony that is it necessary for the country to make CSR mandatory? So for our knowledge, actually the Ministry of Environment has taken CSR to be a mandatory thing to do by all companies in Indonesia through a thing called proper. You guys can look for it. A proper, it's a regulation and an assessment. So every corporation needs to have this assessment, and they will evaluate every year. And then there's also SMK3 from the Ministry of Manpower. And this is more focused on the employee well-being and the employee health and employee safety. So it's also still related to social responsibility, and it's also a mandatory thing to do. So actually several ministries have already conducted some regulations, and there's also some assessment and awards if a company can reach some certain standards. Next. So when I first reading the first proposal that the committee sent me, the expectation is that so I can bridge the knowledge of PR itself with the real practices in the field. I'm sorry that the presentation should have with bigger fonts, but hopefully with my explanations, all of you can manage to understand the topic. So for environmental responsibility, the Group 1 has already explained the concept of it, but the real practices is what I'm going to explain here. The first one is also about greenwashing. So previously, if I'm not mistaken, Karerina has already explained about greenwashing, and this is what I was impressed about, that you guys have reached this topic. So for greenwashing, many companies practice CSR that is actually mandatory for them. For example, reforestation and then rehabilitation. It is their responsibility to do that, and it's a bare minimum because mining companies, they do deforestation. So the government make it mandatory for them to do reforestation and rehabilitation. And as a PR, it is not something, it is not a pride to promote that, because that's the bare minimum and that's an obligation that all companies should comply. So PR role here is actually, we should act as a bridge between the sustainability goals or the environmental impact that is really meaningful and the corporate decision making. So being a PR is actually not only about sending messages to the public, but also we should be involved internally to strategize the company movement that really makes the reputation of the company increased. And it is not by greenwashing. People are already aware of that. For example, in environmental cases, we turn waste into valuable items, or we decrease dependency on the use of coal, or we invest in technology with cleaner waste, that kind of stuff that we could provide, or we could push the management to be more productive on that kind of significance. And then the second one is that in the real practices regarding environmental responsibility, there's a lot of black campaign in the news about it, especially in election year. So about black campaign, usually some opposition of the ruling political government creates fake environmental accusation towards a company practice where actually it is not true. And that's why we call it black campaign. And why do they do that? Of course, they do it because they want people to see that their opposition have no responsibility in terms of environment and such things. So as a PR, we have to be able to map this kind of this kind of situation. Yeah, we cannot just like, oh, okay, this media has published a news about we polluting the river around our mining area, and then we report it to the management that there's this news reporting this. We cannot just say like that. What we have to do is we have to analyze who wrote the news, who created the campaign, what is their aim, what is their goal. And by knowing that, we can propose the management and we can decide what to do about that. So my message here in the PR role in sub number 2 is that be sharp upon media monitoring and do not be overly reactive towards negative news. Maintain professionalism and strengthen branding. And then the third point is that previously the group one already mentioned about the awarding. So PR currently competes for environmental award to attract eco-conscious investors and customers. And this is a very good competitive atmosphere. So if we look at the news, there are a lot of medias and a lot of institutions that is conducting awarding events for companies to appreciate our efforts in terms of environmental contribution. And as a PR, we need to pay attention to any kind of media and government who provide this award. We need to maintain relationship with them. And also we need to regularly update in company social media or websites about our environmental efforts to attract award organization. So that is what PR do in terms of environmental responsibility. Next. And then the next one is about community relations. So for community relation, it's actually more complicated than the environmental issue, because when we are dealing with environmental responsibility, we are dealing with the earth. But community relations is dealing with people, and people have so many backgrounds, especially in rural areas. Sometimes mining company deal with ethnical groups that we do not even speak the same language. They cannot even speak Bahasa Indonesia, and we have to tell them about our impact, positive impacts of the company practices. So the first point is that most programs are not pure philanthropy. Company usually have an interest of why we are doing corporate social responsibility. For example, in our company, in our mining areas, if we do not do CSR to our surrounding villages, then they will block our roads. So the importance of CSR is not just sugarcoating or just sweetener or just for reputation, but also for the importance of the operational things. And also if we do not success in doing that, then there will be operational loss and financial loss in the process. And there are some points that I also mentioned here, that it takes time, efforts, and challenges to be accepted by the locals, that many people failed in this. There is a case in one of the biggest mining company in Indonesia where they stopped production only because the community surrounding the mining areas burned their office. Imagine that. The failure of community relations can lead to the stop of production, even if the status of this project is a national strategic project. So community relations is very important. And donations, the best form of donations the best form of community relations is involving them in the value chain. Like in a manufacturer, we have 3,000 until 5,000 employees, and we need clothes, we need foods, we need a lot of materials for the operations of the factory, and we better involve the local communities in there to create multiplier effects, create jobs and long-term income and increased quality of life. Next. And the next one is, I'm going to talk about the impact of digital transformation on modern PR strategies and its challenges. I have a very limited time. The committee just reminded me that I have 2 minutes time toleration, so hopefully I can cover up everything very shortly. So actually, there's a news happening like around, I think 2 or 3 years ago, that ChatGPT is threatening PR roles in career. But actually, PR cannot be replaced by ChatGPT because the ChatGPT competence is limited to what they know, but they do not have personal impressions on specific topics. So no matter how developed AI are, the role of PR cannot be replaced. And then the second one, with the fast-paced social media, currently influencers are involved in so many controversies and so many issues, but actually they didn't realize the power of PR and the importance of PR. So what I'm going to state here is that influencers must recognize the value of PR in safeguarding their reputation. And then next, the next one is the best practices is organic public relations. So as you guys can see in the picture of my presentation, our president, ruling President Prabowo, visited a location in Bogor that is impacted by flood, and then Princess Diana changed the world by standing up with people with AIDS. She do not hesitate to hug people with AIDS, and at that time, it really changed the perception of people towards her, and not only for her, but also for the royal family. And also, you guys can see here that the director of PT Sritex is crying because he needs to stop the production of the company. And then also the Paragon director is getting viral because he boasts to the employees. This is a very perfect case of public relations. That is why there's a lot of BOD training, because the company cannot rely on the PR itself, but we rely on the director's roles in the company. They have to make a purity for their kindness, and currently people can sense which are sincere and which are not. So we have to make sure that every activities that we do to the public and to communities based on sincerity, and no matter it is staged or not, if we are sincere, then people can see our sincerity and put respect on the institutions or the company. Last one. Next. What I wanted to say in the last slide is the best campaign is when people do not realize that it was a campaign so well crafted that people engage with it organically. So this is the last sentence that I'm going to provide here. Hopefully all of you can learn from my presentations. And again, if you are interested into public relations topics specifically, all of you can check my TikTok accounts because I post a lot of insights weekly there, and it's in @Richy Sabila. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. G, for sharing what an insightful presentation. And now, if participants would like to give questions to Ms. Richy, please raise the hand. I mean, click the raise hand button, or you can also type your question on your chat box. And maybe before we take questions from the audience, I actually would like to ask something first, because I actually have a lot of questions in my mind after hearing your very amazing presentation. And so, do you have any advice that would you give to students who want to pursue a career in PR station?
Okay. So my advice for students who are interested to pursue their career in PR, is that the right question?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So do I directly answer, or I'm waiting for other question? I directly answer.
Directly answer.
Okay. So previously I have explained about this in my TikTok one. So again, if you guys are interested, just check it out. But here's a quick recap on a tip for all of you to pursue career in public relations. Be involved in organizations. For example, like what you are doing right now, being the master of ceremony, you are actually learning one most important skill that a PR should have, which is a public speaking. And always be confident, because confidence is the key for public relations. We are dealing with people with no confidence, with insecurity, then we are one step behind. And how to train that is actually, we cannot just learn by books. PR is not something we learn by theoretically, but we do apply it in our daily life. We do apply it in your class, with you and your friends, and any kind of skills that involve interpersonal skills from us to anyone is actually something that we can control. For example, previously you feel like you are in confidence, so you can control your gesture to be more confident. You turn your body language into more confident. You speak more confidently. It's something that is controlled. If you do not have the power to control yourself in terms of interpersonal skill and the way you communicate, then you are not even trying. So that's actually my tips. And then the second one, try to find a lot of opportunities in terms of internship, and to be more to get more valuable experience, you can try to enter agency or consulting first, because by entering agency or consulting, you are handling many clients at a time with different industries, and in that way you can map which industry is really suitable for you to decide in what industry are you going to work in the future. So I think that's two of my advice.
All right, thank you so much for the answer. Anyone would like to ask a question for Ms. Richy? Anyone wants to ask something?
Can I ask a question? If you had to describe PR in one word, what would it be and why?
To describe PR in one word, it's actually interesting, because this is actually, I plan to ask this to all of you at the beginning of the webinar, but then I'll see at the time, and okay, my time of presentation is very tight, so I don't think I have time for this, but now I got asked for it, so it's quite funny. But actually, if I can say one word about public relations, is actually back to my third slide today, it's actually mentality. It's something that we control from within. It's not something that we only control from our mind. It's not something we can learn by book, but it's our mentality. Because we will face a lot of crisis. We do crisis management, and that is the most crucial and strategic things that we are do, besides appearing in front of televisions and doing CSR and appearing in front of community to do some donations and attend to networking events. That's only the sugar coat or the sweetener, and people see PR that way. But actually, we solve a lot of crisis when the company is facing failures in some kind of issue. That's PR job. That's not the relevant department job. It's PR job. So you have to be strong. You have to be powerful towards something. You have to be able to gain a lot of experience from other people's stories. And that is not something you learn by books. So what I'm mentioning here is that it's mentality.
Thank you, Ms. Richy.
I hope that answers your question.
Right. Thank you, Retno Wulan, for your engaging questions. And unfortunately, we have reached to the end of our session. Thank you so much, Ms. Richy, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences in especially public relations. Your presentation has been incredibly valuable and enlightening. And also to our audience, thank you for your active participations. We hope this session has been informative and inspiring for you all. A big thank you too for all our speakers and participants for making this session engaging and insightful. And have a wonderful day. Goodbye and see you from me, Silky as the moderator. I will give the time back for Master of Ceremony.
Thank you so much, Silky, for facilitating the discussion. And before we close this webinar, I'd like to ask all of the participants to turn on the camera, because we are going to take a documentation. And we will also provide the attendance form in the chat box to get the certificate. Okay, ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Next one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, and we also want to thank you to all the participants for joining us today and for your active engagement during the Q&A session. Thank you so much for our sponsorship backed by Farhat and support from our media partners, BBM FM, Bravo UGM, Event Jogja, Harian Jogja, Edaran Event, Kumpulan Event, and Ikut Event. And if you have any feedback or suggestion, feel free to share with us through our contact person, Felicitas. And I'm so sorry for the inconvenience and have a good day, everyone. See you at the next webinar event talk 69, the role of communication and media in shaping youth development and well-being, which will be held on 18 March 2025. And don't forget to register if you want to gain more knowledge from them. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm going back to 5:05. If it's a 7-hour flight or a 45-minute drive, in my imagination you're waiting, lying on your side, with your hands between your thighs. Stop